Derek Lewis is back with a big first round KO over the undefeated prospect in Taliesin Teixeira at UFC Fight Night Nashville. So, UFC Fight Night Nashville had 12 fights in total, 8 finishes on the card. This is my reaction and breakdown to the card. Starting off just quickly, this just goes to show, no, we don't need any more Apex cards. Let's get out of the Apex. It's such a better viewing experience when they're in crowded arenas. One, it's just better to watch. Two, it makes the fights way better. It makes the fighters actually fight harder. You get a lot more finishes there as well. Get the fuck out of the Apex. Moving on to the main event, Derek Lewis versus Taliesin Teixeira. The heavyweight division is ass. One of the highest thought of prospects in the division gets smoked by Derek Lewis in the first round. This is probably the weakest the heavyweight division has ever been, in my opinion. There is literally no prospects coming up in this division really worthwhile talking about. Taliesin Teixeira was kind of the only one really. And then he gets beat up by Derek Lewis, so that's him completely gone. In fairness, I do think the UFC kind of rushed Taliesin Teixeira. He won in the Contender Series, looked okay. Obviously got that first round KO in the feature fight of UFC 312 against one of the Taffa brothers with that nasty elbow. And then was instantly ranked. And then got the Derek Lewis matchup. I feel like the UFC rushed him. Taliesin Teixeira is still pretty young, so he definitely can make a comeback. But yeah, starting off with this matchup, Derek Lewis caught with a jab, I think it was. Anyway, he started holding his eye. At that point, I thought the fight was done, because normally whenever Derek Lewis does something like that, especially now that he's like 500 years of age, I just thought Derek Lewis is just coming to the end of his career. He's maybe just in here for a paycheck. I didn't think he was going to win this fight, to be honest. I didn't think Taliesin Teixeira deserved to be such a big favourite in it, but I just thought Derek Lewis, with the age, the size of Taliesin Teixeira, I just thought it was going to be a recipe for disaster for Derek Lewis. But yeah, starts to hold his eye. I think later on in this post-fight speech, he said that was like he was just like pretending that he actually wasn't hurt. But anyway, gets into the exchange with Taliesin Teixeira, drops him with a massive shot, puts him down, lands a lot of grounding point in the follow-up, but Taliesin Teixeira was still a live dog in there. You know, he was still trying to get his way up, back to his feet. Obviously, when he did make his way back to his feet, it was basically by pulling himself up. He thought it was a fucking steel cage match in there, WWE style. Starts to pull himself up, fence grabbing with the cage, and then you kind of run into like this weird stoppage where it's like, I thought he was maybe stepping in to be like, yo, don't grab the fence, but then it was like he stepped in, then like hesitated, and then like stepped in properly to be like, nah, it's off, which was a weird stoppage, because Taliesin Teixeira looked like he was back to the land of the living when he got up anyway. Whenever the referee stopped it, like, it looked like he was still there. It looked like he was still wanting to fight. So I was a bit thrown off by the stoppage. You know, a lot of people were saying early stoppage. But yeah, good win for Derek Lewis. Legend of the heavyweight division. Legend of the sport, to be honest. Always fun to watch most of the time. What's next for him? I'm unsure. What's next for Taliesin Teixeira? Take your time with this guy. Like, the UFC need to just go out and just overhaul the heavyweight division with young talent. Get these guys in and build them properly. Stop rushing them. I know this division is ass, but it's going to continue to be ass if you don't build up these fighters properly. I think Taliesin Teixeira will be back though. I definitely think he beats fighters that are inside the top 15 anyway, so I don't think this is the last that we see of him. Moving on to the co-main event, look, I thought Stephen Wonderboy Thompson won this. Gabriel Bonfim is never going to be anything in the UFC's welterweight division. He's never going to be a highly ranked athlete in there. I think a lot of the guys inside of the top 15 beat him. He struggled with a Stephen Wonderboy Thompson who honestly looked like did they fucking wheel him out of the retirement home? Like, you know, full head of grey hair. Guy's 190 years of age, and Bonfim is going to do a split decision with him and lost. He should have lost this fight. I hate the fact that we're rewarding now just stalling. Like, it's not, you're just holding them and doing nothing. Like, it's so shit to watch. It's awful, honestly. Gabriel Bonfim, I'd love to see who he gets matched up with next. Maybe a Randy Brown. Hopefully someone that's just going to knock him out. What's next for Stephen Wonderboy Thompson? I'm unsure. Moving on, we have got Calvin Kattar, Steve Garcia. Calvin Kattar's done, in my opinion. I mean, after Max Holloway hit him with that, I'm the best boxer in the UFC, baby, and broke his face. The guy's just, it's curtains for him. I think he should retire. He's taking a lot of damage in these fights. Steve Garcia looked good. He was in my prospects to watch video yesterday. I thought he was going to get the finish in this fight, to be honest. Came close to it in the third round. But now he's going to be ranked. What's next for him? I'm unsure. I don't think he can really push on to be like a top 8 to 5 fighter. I think he'd be lucky if he breaks the top 10, to be honest. Good win for him. Calvin Kattar isn't an easy fighter. He is still really tough and durable. Is a veteran as well. But yeah, it's time for Calvin Kattar it's time to go, blood. It's time to go. Moving on, Nate Landwehr, Morgan Charrier, fight of the night. Underrated banger. Knew this was going to deliver this fight. Nate Landwehr always shows up. Morgan Charrier always entertaining to watch. Morgan Charrier started that. He's chewing up his calf. I mean, he's going to have to change stances. He's chewing up his calf. I mean, that leg's compromised. Joe Rogan was gooning to Morgan Charrier's work in the very first round with the leg kicks and Nate Landwehr. Really, really good stuff from him. Got a bit close at some points, but got the KO/TKO. I did see some people online saying this was maybe a bit of an early stoppage, but I actually thought this was the right stoppage. Morgan Charrier, get this guy on the Paris France card. He is always fun to watch. I mean, his fight against Nathaniel Wood wasn't the best, but it wasn't the worst either. 9 times out of 10, this guy is delivering a fun watch. Moving on, Vitor Petrino versus Austin Lane. Does anyone know why my brain just... did someone unplug me at the back? I couldn't say Vitor Petrino's name at the start there. What's this guy eating? Give me your Balkan plan. I'm embarrassed to say that when Austin Lane came to the UFC, I was one of them people that was like, keep an eye out for Austin Lane, man. This guy's a prospect. This guy, I can see him going really far. He's tall, he's rangy, he's powerful, he can grapple a bit. Dog shit. I should have known this whenever Greg Hardy smoked him. Yeah, Vitor Petrino looked good in there. Austin Lane, and one of these guys, I'm like, how are you still in the UFC, to be honest? I don't know. Obviously, the heavyweight division is shit, so maybe the more people we get, we can build prospects off Austin Lane, like we just seen with Vitor Petrino. Not really much to say. I mean, Vitor Petrino used his grappling, which I think is an underrated part of his game. Got the rear naked choke in. Pretty flawless win, to be honest. Moving on, we have got Junior Tafa versus Toko Tokos. Junior Tafa, I think they lifted this guy out of the crowd and sat him in the ring. What the fuck was he doing in there? Outside of the overhand right he landed in the second round, do you not train grappling? Did bro just decide I'm going to move to the lightweight division and his only training method was, let's hop on Weight Watchers? Because what the fuck was that performance? Toko Tokos has some of the worst entries for takedowns I've ever seen. Some of the takedowns he was getting was this was honestly, this would fit into a street beefs fight, and I don't mean this in a disrespectful way to these guys. Obviously, they're out there risking their lives fighting. Fair play to them. I'm just sat here as some people think in my mum's basement making videos, but this was a really poor watch. Junior Tafa has to be cut after that. That was dog shit. Good win for Toko Tokos to utilise his grappling. He obviously seen that he had such an advantage in there, but Junior Tafa, what the fuck was he doing? Really weird performance. Moving on, Max Griffin, Chris Curtis, a lot closer than what I thought it was going to be. I thought Chris Curtis was going to get the job done here against Max Griffin. Fairly easy. Didn't happen. Split decision. Wasn't a good look for middleweight. Moving on, Jake Matthews versus Chidi Njokuani. Did Chidi Njokuani miss weight? I'm pretty sure I seen that. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. But after I seen that, and the fact that I just thought his striking style would give Jake Matthews problems, I was really confident in picking against Jake Matthews. How wrong was I? First round submission win for him. Looked really good in there. Good win. Moving on, Lauren Murphy retired. Skip. Kennedy Nzechukwu versus Walter Walker. Is Johnny Walker's brother going to be the biggest prospect at heavyweight? Because that's 3 heel hooks, I think, in a row. Kennedy Nzechukwu, I actually thought he was going to get far in the heavyweight division. Now I'm pretty confident he won't. Walter Walker, though, lost his UFC debut. Has been undefeated since, I think, and has snapped up a lot of submission wins. I'm looking forward to see what they do with him next. Moving on, Mitch Ramirez versus Mike Davis. Mike Davis is so underrated, although his face there is something of the fucking... that's a horror movie face. That's a fucking Ken doll face. But yeah, Mike Davis, good stoppage in the second round. Obviously coming off that loss to Faresian, which was a close-ish fight from what I remember. But yeah, Mike Davis, I think he's underrated. I think he's underrated. Nice to see he's been a bit active now as well. And finally, Fana McCline versus Melissa Martinez. I'm not even going to pretend that I watched this fight. I didn't. Let me know your opinions in the comments below of UFC Fight Night Nashville. Like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And I'll see you again in the next one.